Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the stream. Today, I just realized I muted my desktop audio so you weren't hearing any of the music while you were waiting, and you were hearing my mic, which I wanted to mute. Welcome to the stream. Today we are painting some Fakémon. You'll notice a couple duplicate chat messages in the overlay. I was trying to mess with them a little bit. I was trying to see if I could fix the chat in the overlay, and I seem to have done at least a decent job. It fixed the issue in terms of Twitch, but I don't think I can get the YouTube ones on there. I could try to figure out how to get both, but at least for now it's just Twitch. Alright, so that's what I gotta do. Alright, I quickly Googled it. They have a multi-chat feature. I don't know. I'll see if I can mess with it later. But anyway, today we're working on some Fakémon. I started this one already. We're going to try to finish it on stream. His name is not Gooblin. That was another one. I just duplicated it. His name is Alligator. Thank you to my brother T-Catch for the name. I didn't... What was the one that I had? I can't remember now. I think I ended up making that the evolution name, but I'll check. Oh yeah, it was Crocoslime and Sledgeadile, but I think it's gonna be Alligator, and Sledgeadile is gonna be the evolution. So he's actually really inspired by. Let me see if I could pull up some images here. He's actually really inspired by medieval crocodiles, but specifically this one here. I wanted to tie in, so my little backstory, the lore behind. I wanted to make a Fakémon D&D world. So I picked the world of Augury. That's like the name. And I kind of made every area of the region named after different schools of magic, different spell casting schools. And currently in our story, we're heading into Necrot City, which is essentially like the poison type area. And they're kind of now on Patreon. You can join the Patreon and follow along and take part in the. If you follow the Patreon for free or pay tiers, you can take part in the surveys to kind of help do this choose your own adventure that we're doing. This is how we're kind of building out the Pokedex, essentially. So because usually what I was initially going to do was draw one, then draw its evolution, but I kind of want to do like a choose your own adventure where we start with our basics, and as we get further in the story, they'll evolve, and then we'll draw the evolutions. So this is one of the wild ones we've come across in our sewers. So far, we've come across... well, our starter is named Mermage. That's our first one. Then we caught a plague rat once we entered the woods, the bluffs right before Necrot City. But the thing about plague rats is they gather up numerous ones, and they all kind of piggyback on to one another, and they fuse together, and if you get enough of them, they fuse together and evolve into a Ratriarch, which is what happened in our journey. So we have a Ratriarch, a Mermage. We also caught a Magrot, which is like a little maggot covered in moss and rot Pokemon. He is poison bug type. And we also now are about to catch an Alligator, but now we're entering the sewers, and we first caught a Litstick, who was kind of found in the sewers, lighting up the sewers a little bit. He's like a stick bug that disguises as a torch, essentially. So then we caught a Litstick, and then we found a bunch of spore, like goo things, and that actually gave us Gooblin. So that's kind of where we left off in our story. We caught a Gooblin. Gooblins are kind of like a fuse between a goblin and a gelatinous cube. They can kind of form different shapes to make traps for adventurers to kind of off the adventurer and steal their loot and like hoard their loot and stuff. So that's kind of their purpose in dungeons and caves and stuff. I wanted to do a goblin-like thing. I might do another one too that's kind of like a goblin, but I wanted to do a goblin. I wanted to do a gelatinous cube, but I didn't really want to do just a gelatinous cube. So I was like, oh, what if I made like my own like Ditto kind of character, but instead of turning into different Pokemon, he turns into different traps. like spike pits, Iron Maidens, stuff like that. So that's kind of what the point of Gooblin is. So now we're at Alligator. He's kind of the ones that you find in the waters of sewers, and he actually doesn't have a body. He's formed of algae. So like the algae rises from the water, and it's this. So that's kind of what we're drawing now. I have a little reference here of some algae and spores. Trying to see if I can break up the color a little bit more. So I think I'm gonna also kind of use Magrot as some inspiration as well, to add a little bit of water, not water out, a little bit of white to the top. So yeah, we'll dive in and we'll just start kind of painting away here. So yeah, I was really inspired by this specifically, these like medieval kind of drawings of crocodiles, and I was like, oh, that'd be really fun to kind of make my own, like a loose take on it. Like he still looks like like an alligator or a crocodile, but he has like those hooks, those barbs that go across the back. I think I might just sketch something like a reference, like maybe sketch this as one of the little sketches in the booklet. You know, maybe like do it like down here, or I kind of want to keep that dungeon landscape from Gooblin and put him in there, but I don't know, we'll see. I think I might just use all these references like as my sketches and just kind of sketch my own interpretation of them, because they kind of tell about him. But yeah. So we're going to kind of add a little bit of like white to it, to just break up that green a little bit. I don't want it to be super monochrome. Just gonna kind of fill the rest of this out here. But man, yeah, we've had a busy last few months. It's been really hard to get to streaming and stuff, so it's been a while. I appreciate you all checking it out, even if you can only check it out for a little bit. I really appreciate it. I'm gonna try to start getting back into a regular schedule. I'm hoping to do 2 streams again this week, but work has been kind of demanding, and a lot of it's like NDA stuff that I can't really stream. So I did get clearance from one though, from one person to like, so that I could stream their stuff. So next stream might be either a character stream or finishing up some Rune Rally art that I'm really excited to finish. I'm gonna take the black from Magrot here. Yeah, I'm actually really excited about this this Fakémon thing. I'm trying to think of what I could do with it. I would love to eventually, like, after we do every gym, like every section, we like vote to pick what Pokemon we want to like turn into like legit card art, like make a fake card out of. I would love to do something with that. turn it into a Pokémon Day episode. People seem to be digging it on the Patreon too. It's like it gets pretty good, like, you know, engagement. People seem to chat along and enjoy it. So I'm really grateful for that too. It's really cool. It's going to be a long project, you know. It's like, it's not... I'm actually surprised at how much we're already at. Like, I've already sketched like almost 30 Fakémon, and we've already revealed like 6 or 7. I think 6. But yeah, I have a bunch already. It's happening fast. My sketchbook is like nearly full. I want to do more of the map too. I was really having a lot of fun with the map. But my primary goals, this is just like a little passion project. My primary goals right now are Rune Rally and you know, commission client work. I have an agreement going on right now with a major client for the next 3 months. Essentially, like, all I'm working on is their stuff. And, like, you know, personal stuff in my free time. So I've closed commissions for the first time in like 4 or 5 years. I don't usually close commissions. I usually just roll them to the next month, but I'm going to be kind of booked up for the next 3 months, so I have 1 poster commission in April, and that's it until July, and then I'll probably open commissions back up again. There's one piece in particular I'm working on right now that I'm so excited about, and I hope it gets out of NDA purgatory sooner rather than later. I would love to share it with everyone. I shared the sketch with the art director, and they approved it, and I really like the sketch, so I'm excited to paint it. Hoping to kind of do that a little bit this week. Yeah, right now we're just kind of cleaning up all the shadows here, evening them out. So it kind of looks like I'm not doing anything. But I swear I am. I'm painting over the sketch a little bit, and Also, when researching this, I didn't know alligators were exclusively North American. Like they weren't. You don't really see them anywhere else. I don't know if that's true, but that's what the internet tells you. I didn't know that. That's wild. So technically, like he's actually based off of medieval crocodiles, and he's going to evolve into a crocodile too. But I thought I could get away with it just because for alligator and crocodile or whatever, they kind of weave back and forth between the terms too. So why can't I? What else do I want to look up? I don't think I like that there. I kind of want it to be like he kind of form like as like the algae is like rising up, like he's like forming. So like he's like a part liquid, part algae on the top, and like. So I'm trying to see if I can kind of capture that transition a little bit. And like I think we're kind of getting there. I think aside from some highlighting, that front section looks pretty cool. My only thing is he's not too different from Chat Test Successful. Thank you for also trying it out, more of the Coven. Thank you for joining us on the stream as well. Did you see my bombardment of chat test messages? I can't like I don't know if it shows that. Is it like all in the Twitch chat? I wasn't sure if me being offline it would show all of them. But maybe I guess it does. I don't solve problems with my stream until like 5 minutes before I'm about to go live, because then I remember I was supposed to fix something. I'm not that worried about it. I'm not like some huge streamer. They're like, they say like in my little Twitch thing of like my stats, like, congratulations, you got two concurrent viewers, and I'm like, all right. Like, you know, I'm just, it's also not the goal, so whatever. But if it was the goal, I'd be pretty stressed out. My goal is to paint some stuff and answer questions about how I paint stuff if people are interested. That's kind of my thing. Share the knowledge while the knowledge is available. Cut out in the middle of what I was saying. What is going on with this microphone? No, I was just saying I don't really Twitch was like telling me, I was saying that I was like, I'm not really that big of a streamer. It's like whatever. I feel like if I was a bigger streamer, it would probably be a bigger concern. But I feel like Twitch was like, you had 2 concurrent viewers last stream, congratulations. And I was like, all right, that sounds sad. but thanks, I guess. And then I was mentioning how like I don't necessarily worry about it too much because that's not really my goal. So like, but I feel like if it was my goal to be a successful streamer, I'd be pretty stressed out reading that. And yeah, my goal is to just paint some stuff, and if people want to check it out, they can. If they want to learn something about how I do it, they can also, for sure. Hopefully I didn't cut out again. I don't know why I cut out right there. It keeps telling me I'm not. If anything, it keeps saying I'm like peaking. Oh. Oh, good. I don't want to have to fix another thing, so thank you for letting me know. 1 week. It's funny. My wife's a teacher, and a coworker of hers has a daughter who's trying to become a career artist or whatever, and she wanted me to like reach out to her and talk to her and give her some advice, and I'm like, my advice is I got really lucky. Like, I don't really have any advice. I mean, but I was like, I'll chat with her for sure. I just don't really know what wisdom I could impart in terms of like making it as an artist, because I don't think I made it as an artist. I guess everyone has their own definition of what making it is, right? Because like I feel like I am not wildly successful or popular, but I'm stable. I'm able to like live my life doing it. So like to me that's success. But I'm not like making millions and whatever. I mean, I'm very frugal with my money. That also helps. But no, it's weird, right? Because like I don't want to just say I got lucky, but like I think it comes with like a lot of like learning things and building your skills and just kind of networking and getting out there. There's a lot of grind and work involved with that, but then there's also a little bit of luck too, because it's like, say you network with someone and they happen to be connected with somebody else, and then they kind of connect you with another person that gets your foot in the door, right? Like that's a little bit of luck, and that's kind of what I'm trying to say. It's like I struggled for years trying to get a graphic design job right out of college. Every college I've like that tried to set me up with like headhunters or career people or businesses or help me like career advisors. They all just kind of shrugged their shoulders and didn't know what to do. So it's kind of like, all right, well, so the college I'm paying is not helping me with setting up a job, which is something they do after you're done with college. So I guess that's not a thing anymore. Oh, look, my chat cuts off here. What the hell? There's another problem I gotta fix. Where are we, Stream Elements? What the hell, Stream Elements, you son of a bitch. All right. No. So they weren't very helpful. My advice from my community college advisor was, have you thought of starting your own business? And that was like the best they could give me. And I was like, wow, this is super handy. Don't mind if I do, I guess. But yeah, it was not very helpful, to say the least. Let's see if that helps. I cleared the chat. Whoops. I don't know. Anyway. Well, it's weird. It's like I don't want chat to show up in the middle of the thing, but I also don't want chat to go all the way up my overlay. So I guess we'll just see as chat goes how far that goes. Because I guess I could Whoopsie. Whoa, holy shit. I could, like... Nope. Can I fix this? To go like this? What the hell? Alright. Let's just see if that works. Probably won't. That's okay. I'm okay with that. Anyway. So... Alright, I reset the chat. Let's see what happens. Anyway, so they just kind of told me to start my own business, and I was like, well, that sucks, but I guess I'll try that while I look for a job. So I started doing like random freelancing gigs. I also started getting into, you know, those Shirt-A-Day websites like T-Fury and Threadless and all those places like that. Like, that's kind of what I started doing. And like back then, that was like when they were big, you know. So if you like got really lucky with a Shirt-A-Day pickup, you could make thousands of dollars in a day. But then like you'd have other ones where it's like $100 or $50, and like so it's very wild and unpredictable. So, but it was a good start for freelance stuff while I looked for like a stable career. But what is frustrating the most is my graphic design job that I got that was like a career. I got hired to work at this community college, and their requirements were just a high school diploma. So I didn't even need a degree. I went to school for nothing, aside from, you know, like the actual learning portion of things. But yeah, no, it was frustrating to say the least. So yeah, like after that, I just kind of worked there for years. You know, I got married, had kids, and all that stuff, and just like it provided enough stability. And while I was at home with the kid on paternity leave, I really started diving into like freelance illustration, like because I actually wanted to be an illustrator, not a graphic designer. But in high school, I thought graphic design was the only way you could make money doing anything art related, so that's what I ended up learning. So I kind of started getting back into illustration after like going to PAX and seeing, you know, D&D 5e art and Magic the Gathering art. I was like, wow, this art is like exactly what I always wanted to do. I didn't know you could do that, you know, as a career. So I started looking into it, started seeing that places took submissions and stuff for art. And then I had tried to learn how to like do digital painting and stuff. And like, I did a little bit in the past, but I never had like a good tablet to really do it on or anything. So I had this like tablet that was really outdated at the time, but I was learning on that. And I kind of started doing that. I started doing turnarounds and trying to learn about concept art and digital painting and learning about the fundamentals and stuff, and just practicing and practicing and practicing and practicing. But what helped was, and this is the advice I give everyone. I know I'm rambling, so I apologize, but my advice I give everyone is like, know what you want to do, like figure out, like searching for something that you want to do is good, but trying to do too much all at once is never going to get you anywhere. So it's like eventually narrowing your focus and being like, that is what I want to do, like helped so much in terms of like me reaching at least the point that I'm at now. It was like, I knew that I was like, I want to do fantasy art and I want to do something with board games. Like I want to either make board games or like make art for board games or whatever. So I kind of like found that niche of like, and like focusing in on that really helped me kind of find my corner and like being like, okay, I'm going to just focus on this lane for a while. And I think there's nothing wrong with eventually trying new stuff and experimenting and trying out different things and doing other aspects and avenues, but like at least being focused on that helped me hone my craft of like what I wanted to do. and so I just kept working on it, and then I actually didn't get a lot of work for a long time so I started really learning it and working on it in like 2019. No, that's a lie. 2017-ish. I didn't get like I didn't open commissions or like get my first private commission until like 2019, 2020. So like I did some work here and there, but most of it was design work, honestly, like freelance design work while I was working at this college. So I was working at this college full time, and I'd come home and I'd be doing freelance part time. And then like luckily my bosses were super cool at this college. They actually let me do freelance work as long as it didn't impact the work I had to do there. They would just let me do it there too. So they were super chill about it. I didn't have to sign anything that made me not able to do that stuff. So yeah, and then eventually I just had to make a choice, because I eventually started getting booked for bigger gigs, and just by getting out there, by like making work, posting on social media, sharing my info and stuff like that, and doing art shares and stuff like that, just constantly getting out there. And it got to a point where I was having so much freelance work that it was starting to kind of not be manageable while working full time at a college. So it was either we put our kid in daycare, which we didn't really want to do, because it was like a big expense that we didn't need to do, because it's like one of us was always home, but all of our paternity leave and stuff was starting to end. So we were like, all right, well, we either have to make a choice of like getting him into daycare, or like one of us just like the opportunity for me was like, I either just quit my job and work from home and I can take care of the kid and then work, or I go back to work full time. I stop doing freelancing, so I'm actually like a dad, not working all the time. And I chose to just like, do freelance. I was like, you know what, I enjoy this more. I'm not as stressed out. So yeah. So what I ended up doing was I actually sat down with my boss at the college, and at the time I just kind of presented it to him like, I was like, oh, well, I love what I do here. I don't want to leave it, but I kind of need to. But then I proposed to them that I could still work for them as a contractor, as long as I get to work from home. And they were actually open to the idea, because they don't want to hire another person and pay them insurance and stuff. So I managed to kind of, again, like, and I don't consider that luck. I consider that actually very strategic. I think that took a lot of like convincing and assertion. Like it was like it was just like, yeah, I'm giving a very long-winded rant. But yes, essentially, like it wasn't like it was like a lot of luck just in terms of like how to build, like getting clients and stuff, but there was a lot of strategy involved with it. Like when you had certain pieces in place, like eventually like you have a little bit of the leverage, like they needed a designer and I needed to work from home. So it was either like, hey, I can work from home, or as your designer, because I worked for them dedicated for a long time, and I kind of established like a certain style and a certain way I do things, and I feel like if they were to change that, they probably felt like it would have an impact on their marketing, maybe, I don't know. But I kind of like, they just did a round of layoffs and stuff, so like they're clearly like, needing budgetary cuts and stuff. So I just kind of was talking to them like, hey, I can save you a little bit of money because I'll only be doing this part-time again for X amount of dollars, and you won't have to pay me insurance. So I kind of like put the ball in their court, but like made it look like, I didn't make it look like they were making a decision, but like that sounds kind of like evil. But like what I'm saying is like I kind of like made the idea seem more tantalizing than I guess they probably thought of. And I think that's all it really boils down to too, is like networking and like communication, like and being honest and like being open and using your creative mind like for things not always about art, like because it took a lot of creative thinking to like think of those kinds of solutions, right? Like we had choices to make, and I was like, okay, well, how can we be creative with this? And I pitched to them like, why not I just be a contractor? And they eventually, you know, they were open to it. Which was rare, because a lot of companies don't want that, because they want to be able to micromanage you. They love micromanaging. I don't think they loved the idea, but I don't think they loved the idea of trying to like get a hiring team together and all that stuff either. So this was kind of like the compromise here. So yeah, and I've been doing, that's one of my clients. I do stuff for them still to this day. But like that was also good for me too, because it like established a line of income on top of what I was already doing. So it's like if anything broke down, I still had a little bit of something coming in, right? And that's like the other advice I want to give people is like, never just have one whale. You know what I mean? Like, don't have like one thing that you're banking on for your income. Try to have multiple lines of things, you know, within reason, if you can manage it, you know. But the reason why I went freelance at the time was I also had another client that was giving me big design jobs. I was doing branding guides and stuff. And like the moment I went freelance, they like went under. And it's like, well, there goes like $3,000 a month. Like, you know, I have to like now I have to figure that out. But at the time, I established other clients to kind of, it didn't make it a ton better, but I didn't like immediately tank and have to crawl back to doing what I was doing. So yeah, it definitely helps kind of like all that, you know, communication, honesty, sincerity is really good. You know, being compassionate and being honest with people, not trying to like swindle people, but like not also like catering to literally everything. Like you having needs is not a bad thing. You know what I mean? You having needs outside of what the company wants from you is not a bad thing. You demanding something of the company after they demanded so much from you is okay to ask for. I think that's like my biggest advice I can give anyone is like you're a human being. Like you have needs, you have things that you need to address. You need to be paid well. You need to be able to live. So like being honest and open and communicating that like may get you some no's, but at least like once you do get a yes, it's like something that you can actually sustain off of. And it hasn't been easy at all. Like there's moments where like even right now, like my shop like desperately needs some attention, and I just can't give it to it right now. And it's showing. It's like, you know, it's not going as, starting to slow down a little bit. And it's like, all right, well, right now I'm a little busier on the freelance side, so it's just gonna have to wait. Wednesdays keep an eye on you. Yes, I'm a total cat. I just I will kick you to the curb when I don't need you. That's exactly what I'm saying. I think my main advice is like never undersell yourself. You know, like don't undervalue what you bring to a thing. Like even when it comes to like freelance stuff, like when somebody's like trying to say like, hey, what's your budget? Like I keep my prices relatively low because I also communicate that like I'm working on 50 things at once, so like this might take longer than like I can paint a character in 4 hours. However, I can't dedicate just 4 hours to painting one character. Like so it ends up taking weeks or days or whatever because I'm also working on 5 other people that need characters at the same time. So it's like that's how I manage my prices. If you want me to do something faster, the price goes up. And it's just the way it is. But like some people will probably see my prices and be like, that's incredibly low. Never understand. It's not, that's a big ask. It is a big ask, but it's also like it's a risk, you know, like it all is a risk. Like at what point are you gonna not take a risk? You know what I mean? Like you can't just wait for the pieces to all fall into place, right? Because like I've done that to myself so many times. Like I've waited and waited for like the stars to align, but like if one thing and like 90% of the stars would be aligned telling me to do the thing, and then one thing would be off and I'm like, oh no. But like at some point you just like gotta do it, you know, like sometimes your back is against the wall and you just gotta be like, fuck it, like I just gotta try. Like what's the worst thing that happens is you don't get the thing. And it's like, but I'm also speaking to a place now of like I can see the hypocrisy of like my place now with a little more sustainability. But like when I was desperate trying to find work, I like that's all I remember is like when you're desperate and looking for work, you look at every avenue, and like yeah, there are going to be some times where you do undersell yourself just to kind of like make a check. But like what I've noticed as I kind of like went further along is like more often than not, like if you decline a job that's underpaying you and another job comes in that is willing to negotiate with work on your thing, like yeah, okay. Well, like what I'm saying is like I see people post like character pieces, right? Like $25 for like a fully painted character, and I'm like, you're doing, but then you're saying you have like 7 slots. If you just like made yourself have 3 slots and do 200 per character, you'll probably still get booked, and you're doing less work. Like, why are you making yourself like work so hard for so little? Like it's crazy to me when I see that. Like it's just like you have to do 8 times the amount of work for such little pay. And it's like, even me, like I'm genuinely thinking like I'm gonna raise my prices anyway a little bit. Like if I get one more email of somebody being like, hey, I want to have this commission thing, despite saying that my commissions are closed, I'll ask for a higher price and I'll try to make it work, you know. And now I'm just going on a tangent. I don't even know where I'm at mentally. Like my brain is processing slower than my mouth, so I feel like I'm gonna just start talking like an idiot. Another thing that I always find funny is whenever things get quiet for a second, at least recently, every time something gets quiet, you're like, all right, I'm gonna start working on this personal project I've been meaning to do. Like all of a sudden people start reaching out and you're like, all right, I guess I won't work on that project I've been meaning to do. Like, I feel like it happens all the time. It like drives me nuts. Just like the way weird things work out. But more, I've seen your art. You don't need my advice. Yeah, essentially, yeah. I was just kind of giving like my little bio, yeah, of like my freelance work. I don't know how long you've been doing art for, Mora, but no, your art's really good. You just keep doing your thing, honestly. Trying to really slimify up this guy, but like I still want him to like clearly look like algae, you know. So I don't want to do too much, but I do want to add some like blue backlighting here. Let's go back to our Magrot here. Just kind of borrow that blue. Actually, do this blue instead. Whoops. Yeah, more. I don't know what advice you do need, but yeah, if you ever wanted me to like, I don't know, give her critique or whatever, I guess I could, but I don't think you need it. But I mean, I think your work is really good. I don't know how long have you been illustrating for? You don't think I need critique? My ego inflates. Good. Become the egomaniac. I just usually find with like a lot of illustrators, like, I don't know, like time. Like I think even when I was starting out, like I was like wondering like why my stuff was not looking how I wanted it to, and I kept looking for any tips and shortcuts and stuff. I've only started to buckle down recently, but I got back in art 2020-21. Yeah. See, like, I think it's really just like any shortcomings you may have. Yo, best of yours on streamboo.com. Sick. Get the fuck out of here. All right. So yeah, no, I think it's really just like any critique you may have, like it's just time. honestly. Like, I tried to take so many shortcuts and stuff by like trying to like learn, not shortcuts, but like I would like do so many studies and blah 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 and look up tips and all this stuff. And I found that like those are all really helpful, but they never shortened my time of like learning and growing, right? I think my trajectory, I think it really boiled down to focus and really being like I guess the word is not focus, but intention. It's like really knowing like what you wanted to do and like looking into that, researching into that, studying that, and I feel like that helped. But then I look back and I'm like, it still took me years. You know what I mean? Like it's not like the same speed as you probably hope for. You know what I mean? Like you research all this stuff and you probably hope that like within a month you're going to be painting better. But it's like, I love posting those paintings of like, I have characters that are from 2014 and then I paint them in 2021 and I'm like, wow, look at the difference, because I intentionally was like, I'm going to paint like this. And I shifted and learned that starting in like, I don't know, 2017 or something. And, 5 years of focusing on that one thing, like, will definitely do a lot of wonders in terms of knowing what it is you want to do. I'm doing that now with traditional art. Like I'm trying to do more traditional art, and I've been like, I keep rushing it, and I'm catching myself rushing it, and yeah, no, I just gotta sit down and try to just enjoy the process more. We all get so impatient sometimes. For sure. Like everyone wants it so fast now, and I think it's just more ingrained in us now. Not that like anyone is impatient and stuff. It's just that hustle culture that like has kind of been like ingrained in us now. That like you needed to be a success yesterday kind of thing, and it's like, holy shit! Like, can we chill out? Like, this used to be like a thing that would take years, and you would be able to hone in on it and study it and learn it and find your own way that way. And it's just a bummer that like everything has to be done so fast now. Because I also feel like it takes like the mystery and like wonder out of things too. It's like, I don't know, it feels so good to like look back and like be like, wow, like there's so many things like randomly the other day I noticed that like I did a sketch for a piece, and like I did end up eventually using references to tighten stuff, and there's nothing wrong with using references. That's not the point I'm trying to make. But eventually you start to know that like you're looking up references less because you just know. You know what I mean? Like you start to kind of like, it clicks. And like there was some sketches I did where like I just like got the anatomy and I got it right. And like when I grabbed the references and stuff to try to double check it, like I wasn't too far off, or I'd be spot on sometimes. Like it was pretty wild to like be like, oh yeah, like now I know that like like there was a point where I was drawing where there was no neck, it was head and shoulders, you know, and now you like know like there's a neck, there's like how far away and like how long you make it, etc., etc. How many heads makes the chest, you know, like you know that stuff at some point, and like you don't notice until you like look back. I have done little illustrating of this character. I've done so much chatting, and I love that though. I'm okay with that. So yeah, I think mostly it's just time for people. I think people just need more time. And I wish society would give it to them. my gosh, this guy is adorable. See, like right there, I gotta move that bubble down. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna just paint a different bubble over here. I mean, he's looking real fun. I like how he's coming out. Honestly, I think what really drove my career the most, in a really weird way, is becoming a parent. Like, I think it gave me this this motivation to really like stop undervaluing myself and like really pushing for things that like me and my family needed. Like even, another thing I didn't talk about was this college, they hired me part-time. Okay. So at the time I was working part-time and I was also working at like a CVS. So I was working 2 jobs and doing freelance. I did that for like, out of the 7 years I worked at the college, I did that for like 2 of the years. So what happened was we were just kind of like, I can't do this anymore. I'm so beat. I can't work 3 jobs. Like I'm tired. I can't do it. Like I want to be a good dad. I want to be present in my kids' lives, and I'm tired of working every day of my life. So, I started looking around for graphic design jobs again. I really spruced up my resume. I made it all fancy. I designed it instead of just like doing it in a Word doc. I made it all pretty. Kind of looked like an old-timey newspaper at the time. I really dig it. I still look back on it. I like it. So I applied to jobs. I saw there was one that was hiring pretty close by to where I was. I mean, not really. It was still like a 40 minute drive or whatever. But it was better than the CVS I was working at, which was like a long way, almost like an hour. It sucked. So I applied to that. They offered me the job. I didn't want to work there. I wanted to work where I was working. So I used that as information, as leverage. You know what I mean? Not in a manipulative way, but as like I'm going to take the job because it's better, unless they can offer me something better. So I met with the president of the school and was like, hey, I want to work here, but I have a family and I can't do this anymore, this deal. Okay? I need to work full time. I need benefits. I need to take care of my family. So this place is offering me this and for this pay. So the president was kind of like, I can give you full time, I can give you benefits, but I can only give you this pay. It was like $1,000 a year less, right? It wasn't that big of a deal. But when you look at the pay scale of like the steps, it ended up being more in like a couple of years. So I was kind of like, all right, I'll do it. because their benefits were way better than this other company, which I didn't mention. Not because I chose not to. I just didn't know until after I looked at it. So yeah, again, it's like getting out of that feeling of you always being the one that, like, you know what I mean, like knowing your own value, knowing what you need, and communicating that, and being open about it, and being genuine. You know, like, there's nothing wrong with sometimes demanding something. Like, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. We've been taught so many times to be so obedient that it's like it paralyzes us sometimes. It stinks. You know, and I don't want that for people. I think people deserve to demand a little more. There's nothing wrong with it. You deserve to be happy. And you deserve to be valued. And I'm always hesitant to give that advice because it's hard to give that advice, right? Because it does feel very like, it does feel like it's still coming from a slight place of like entitlement. I don't know. Like, maybe that's just me overthinking it, but like, it does feel like it's such a unique scenario. But I do notice, at least, like, the more often that you can just communicate things and be open and direct, instead of kind of like beating around the bush and avoiding conversations and stuff. And don't get me wrong, I have pretty bad anxiety. Every time I'd have these meetings, I would leave like drenched in sweat and just exhausted from the day because socializing is so hard. But you think long term about what you need, and is this life that you're doing sustainable? You know, and you just gotta sometimes you just gotta push through the discomfort and the awkwardness, and just go for it. At least from my experience. I'm an elder now. I'm 36. That's old in internet age. But I believe in you. Whoever's watching, all one or two of you that are watching, I believe in you. I think you're awesome and you can do it. You just gotta ask for it. And you just gotta try for it. Keep going. It may not work. I've had so many no's before I've gotten any yeses. It happens. It will always happen. I'm still submitting my portfolio to Wizards of the Coast, even though I keep learning more and more about how sucky they are. I still want to paint a Magic the Gathering card someday, just so I can say I did it. And still hasn't happened. And it probably won't happen, and that's okay. You know? I still got my life, my family. I'm trying to find the positives in what I am doing. I'm loving working on some Fakémon and having fun doing it. I'm loving the little community that's happening over on Patreon. It's not big, but I enjoy it. And it's been my favorite part of the internet lately, so I really appreciate everyone checking it out, whoever does. But I think I'm going to stop there. Stream is over. We're going to try to be back. On Thursday, but I do think I have somebody coming to fix the gutters on our house, so I don't know if I'll be streaming that. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if it works out. If not, we'll be back next week trying to do the same schedule, Tuesday and Thursday. But yeah, thank you all so much for coming by the stream. It's been awesome. Patreon.com/Creative Outpouring. We're going to be continuing our Fakémon journey over there, plus some other stuff. I have some digital download ideas I want to do, including a new thing that I want to do that kind of goes with last minute minis. I want to do last minute maps, which are like quadrant battle maps that you can print and like rearrange in different ways. And thank you for joining me again and chatting with me, Maura. I really appreciate it. And yeah, once again, patreon.com/creative outpouring. Please check it out if you'd like to. Follow along. I'd really appreciate it. And yeah, be good to each other. And we'll see you next stream, hopefully Thursday, if not back Tuesday. Later, everyone. Have a good day.